Hi, I'm Ollie. Welcome to Possibility Space. Today I'm going to read you our first ever article. It's entitled, "It's Not Foolish and Self-Indulgent to Vote for Candidates That You Want to Win. We Deserve Better Columnists." I wrote this in response to a column in The Observer by Sonia Soda called, "It is Foolish and Self-Indulgent for the anti-Starmer left to split the Labour vote." Let's get stuck in. Guardian columnist Sonia Soda did the anti-Starmer left a favour this week by putting all the flimsy arguments that are going to be used against us in the run-up to July's election in one place. Let's refute them. Soda says, all political parties face a trade-off under a first-past-the-post electoral system. To put a Labour majority at risk by casting a protest vote against a Labour government that does not yet exist is perhaps the ultimate form of luxury belief campaigning. Under first past the post, Soda's argument goes, we should hold our nose and vote for the lesser evil. This makes sense until you consider that it was Starmer who ruled out replacing first past the post against the stated wishes of his own party's membership. If you extrapolate this thinking, we're going to hold our noses until we run out of oxygen. We will never get what we want if we don't have the courage to vote for it. Soda doesn't acknowledge, let alone suggest a way out of this cul-de-sac that she's directed us down. Also notable, and perhaps indicative of her reading habits, is Soda's invocation of luxury beliefs. The term is a US import popularized by such esteemed thinkers as Matthew Goodwin and Suella Braverman. It implies that working-class people can't afford to be left-wing. The opposite is, of course, true. The biggest losers under right-wing austerity policies have been, invariably and repeatedly, the poor. Back to Soda. In May's local elections, the Labour Party experienced losses in some of its safer seats as a result of disaffection over its position on Gaza. It would be a huge loss if any of these widely able and respected feminists were unseated. Soda here is talking about Jess Phillips, Thagam Debonair, and Shabana Mahmood. Putting aside for a moment the fact that Debonair is being challenged by the Green Party's Carla Denyer, herself a vocal feminist, the vaguely sexist argument being made here is that we should give these politicians an easy ride because they're women. This is a general election. The full records of these candidates are on the ballot, and to imply that disagreeing with them is tantamount to misogyny is just ludicrous. Back to Soda. The left argue that the Tories are toast and Labour can't lose, so disgruntled left voters can safely vote for other parties, such as the Greens. What this underplays is the number of Labour-Tory marginals where a relatively small vote for the other left candidates could cost Labour a win. Now, Soda is actually right here. The We Deserve Better campaign is wrong to assert that you can vote Green or Independent with no risk of a Tory gain. The correct argument, I think, is that you should vote Green or Independent because you believe in their policies, and that if you let Labour take your vote for granted this time, then they'll take your vote for granted next time, offering the same underwhelming policies. Back to Soda. A Labour leader's most important job is to connect with potential voters, not coddle members. Liz Truss provides a cautionary tale of what happens when a party leader seeks to impose a membership-endorsed platform on a country without a general election. For Starmer to have stuck to his 2020 leadership pledges instead of spending the past 4 years understanding voters would have been fundamentally undemocratic. This argument is so bad. This argument wound me up so much. It's pretty much the reason that this post and indeed this entire publication exists. For Soda, up is down, down is up. If Starmer hadn't ditched the pledges he made to win the leadership, it would be fundamentally undemocratic. I mean, this argument is too stupid to entertain, but because "Your ideas are just as unrealistic as Truss's were," is a common argument that's actually used quite a lot against the left. It is worth unpacking just how inappropriate a comparison this is. Liz Truss was a wildly unpopular leader. She had a -31 net approval rating on the first day of her premiership. She then pursued a wildly unpopular mini-budget, which polled at -41, and that made her even more unpopular. She polls at -73 today. Keir Starmer, on the other hand, was a mildly popular opposition leader, +22 on the first day of his leadership, who abandoned a number of popular pledges like nationalising rail, which polls at +48, mail +57, energy +55, and water also +55, and abolishing the House of Lords +46. As a result of abandoning these pledges, Keir Starmer is now mildly unpopular, -10. The lesson here is not, as Soda suggests, that ditching leadership pledges magically makes you more popular. It is far simpler than that. Doing popular things makes you popular. Doing unpopular things makes you unpopular. And saying that you're going to do popular things and then reneging makes you unpopular and makes people angry. It's not electoral rocket science. Back to Soda. The Green Party has mopped up enough of the cranks expelled by Labour that it has to acknowledge its growing problem with anti-Semitism. Soda links to these accusations of anti-Semitism rather than actually spelling them out in the article, presumably because if you click through to these articles, much of it is just inconvenient truths about Israel. For example, a councillor in Leeds who said on October 7th that Palestinians had the right to fight back is presented as a shocking act of racism, when it is in fact a statement of the Palestinian right to resistance under international law. Was it crass and ill-timed on October 7th? Sure, but that doesn't make it anti-Semitic. Soda, having witnessed the efficacy of smearing the left as anti-Semitic in the Corbyn years, is just mashing the anti-Semitism button to win the argument. Lazy false accusations like this muddy the water and jeopardize the necessary fight against actual anti-Semitism. One more quote from Soda here. "Labour won't be getting my vote. It's become clear that the only chance of getting the Labour leadership to throw its weight behind a referendum on a Brexit deal is to deny it my vote." I don't know how this got in here. It's not actually from this article. It's a quote from a 2019 Soda article where I guess she foolishly and self-indulgently agrees with the thrust of my argument here. Interesting.